in combating the second generation alcoholic drinks and other drugs is the way to go. We have to walk this path to its logical conclusion. Since the first such meeting that was held in Nyeri way back on 14th April this year, the campaign has gained commendable momentum. Numerous alcohol and drugs rackets have been unearthed. Arrests have been made, culprits processed as per the law. There has been more collaboration, especially between the citizens and the police officers, in identifying and apprehending peddlers of these illegal substances. We have also had innovative approaches in the fight, like the Murang'a County, where citizens submitted names of suspects through secret ballots for subsequent police action. Additionally, the National Police Service has heightened efforts on interception of illicit alcohol, drugs, and production materials such as ethanol on transit. The interceptions are intelligence-based and well supported by wananchi. I encourage all the National Police Service officers across the country to continue with the fight against the illicit alcohol and other narcotic drugs with the firmness that it deserves. To the police commanders from the Rift Valley region, we are with you here today. All persons should be treated equally in the fight. Do not let anyone intimidate you in the discharge of your mandate. The Deputy President has said this before, that no one is untouchable. Also, the Inspector General and all of us, we stand with every officer in doing that which is right. From this meeting, we shall have a better organized, well-coordinated, greater collaboration and rejuvenated fight against alcohol, drug abuse in the Rift Valley region. Your Excellency, on behalf of the National Police Service, I reiterate our commitment to the campaign. As a service, we have put in place various measures, including reorganization of deployment of officers, because we must get it right this time around. It is time we combat abuse of alcohol and other drugs in the country differently. I am glad that Kenyans and leaders of all walks of life have rallied behind the crackdown. It shows the high level of concerns and the heavy burden the society has been grappling with due to drugs and substance abuse. We have all heard the clarion call. We have a God-given opportunity to serve. Let us work together in restoring sovereignty in our beloved country, Kenya. I thank you all. Thank you. Maybe to conclude, to the police officers, please, you have our support. Do what is right. Let us ensure that our society is saved from this menace. Again, as we said while we were in Nyeri, we are not going to allow the illicit brews, alcoholic drinks, and drugs to exist together with our officers. Kwa hivyo, moja mpaka aondoke. Na hapa, juu pombe hawezi kaondoka, ni polisi ataondoka, si ni kweli? Kwa hivyo, wacha tuondoe hii pombe, alafu sisi tuendelee na kazi. I know we have a few challenges here and there, internal challenges, correction of some protection fee here and there, hard changes here and there. Please, abia maofficers wenu waachane na hiyo. Tufanyie wananchi wetu kazi, tuifanye vizuri, na sisi at the end of the day tutakuwa tumebarikiwa sana. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, DIG. Now it's my honor to invite my cabinet secretary to come and introduce his colleagues and make a few remarks, and then invite the Deputy President. Thank you.
Your Excellency, Rigathi Gachagua, Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, all senior government officials present here from the national government and the counties of our country, all protocols observed. Your Excellency, allow me to introduce my colleagues, members of the cabinet, who have joined us here today for this very important occasion. Before I do so, I think the PS for Internal Security and National Administration forgot to introduce one other senior officer in our midst, and that is the Secretary for Public Prosecutions, Dorcas Oduor. She is representing the Director of Public Prosecutions. Your Excellency, in our midst, we have the Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, Cabinet Secretary for Roads and Transport. We have the Honorable Soipan Tuya, Cabinet Secretary for Environment, Climate Change, and Forestry. We also have Davis Chirchir, the Cabinet Secretary for Energy. Last but not least, my sister there, the Cabinet Secretary for Labor and Social Protection, Florence Bore. Your Excellency, sir, since we are not doing very well with time, I will be very brief. I would like to say the following. First, I thank you for profiling the fight against illicit and toxic alcoholic drinks and narcotic drugs to the level of your office. Your support and leadership will go a long way in helping us get rid of this problem that is one of the major cancers eating into our society. Your Excellency, allow me also to say the following, that the sale and use of illicit and toxic alcoholic drinks, as well as narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances, is a national emergency. It is not a small matter anymore. We have been on this topic for a few years now, but we in the Interior Ministry are convinced that unless we address this cancer and this problem with finality, we stand to lose the next generation of Kenyans who will take over and take forward this country when everybody seated here will be gone. Your Excellency, I would like to clarify that we are not against licensed traders in alcohol. Traders who are allowed to engage in trade in alcohol, they have been licensed, and they are selling products which have been given approval by the Kenya Revenue Authority, the Anti-Counterfeit Agency, the Kenya Bureau of Standards, which are agencies of government, have nothing to fear. And I want to direct all officers involved in this crackdown not to use the excuse of this fight to harass, intimidate, extort money from legitimate traders and business people who are engaged in the business of alcohol. We have already received reports. Some of our officers have taken advantage of the effort that Your Excellency are leading to harass business people who are selling products which have been approved by government agencies. And even if I know we've had another discussion about how many licenses should be issued, that is a different discussion. Any trader, any business person who is selling products which are licensed and they have been approved by the agencies of government should not be harassed simply because of this crackdown. This crackdown, Your Excellency, is on illicit alcohol, toxic alcohol, which is laced with poisonous substances, which is ruining the health of our children, our men and women, which is breaking our families, and which is affecting economic development, as well as narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances. I hope all officers have heard me. So in this process, any officer who veers away from the very deliberate and focused efforts of cleaning this country from dangerous substances and from drugs, that officer will be on their own, and we will take action without any further reference. Your Excellency, thirdly, I would like to say that we have scanned the threats that we consider the most dangerous and the most critical threats for our national security. The first one is terrorism. I want to commend all our security agencies who for years and months have made sure that our country remains free from the threat of terror. And although the public may never know what our officers do every day, Your Excellency, I want to report that in the last 6 months especially, the war against terror has gained momentum, and I can proudly report that we have been able to detect and thwart what would have been catastrophic attacks on our country's security. We are going to increase our alertness and make sure that never again will terrorists find their way to hurt us the way they have hurt us in the past. Number two, we have a problem in about 13 counties, with 8 counties being most affected. The problem of criminals who are engaged in the organized crime of banditry and livestock rustling. Once more, I commend our officers who, especially in the last few months, And these are officers from both our internal security organs, the National Police Service and other agencies, but also from the Kenya Defense Forces, who have helped us put bandits in a corner. And I want to assure you, Your Excellency, where we have put these criminals, they will never recover again. We will sustain that war. We will go relentlessly against them. We will eradicate them from our midst. And therefore, our officers have firm instructions to deal with bandits mercilessly and make sure that the deaths that we have experienced in many parts of our country, especially the North Rift, do not occur again. Thirdly, is the problem that brings us here. We believe the sale and use of illicit alcoholic drinks, as well as drugs, narcotic drugs and psychotropic substances is a threat, just like terrorism and banditry. It's only that the means are different. What terrorists do to destroy society, what bandits do, these fellows who are selling these dangerous substances are doing the same. In fact, they have even greater number of casualties. Number 4, we have determined in this country that religious and cultural extremism is slowly threatening the fabric of our country. We are already in shock as a nation as what is happening in Kilifi County continues to unfold. And Your Excellency, if we can allow what happened in Shakahola to pass just like any other security breach, we will have a case to answer to posterity and to future generations of Kenyans. I believe, without a doubt, that the very unfortunate and unforgettable incident in Shakahola should be a turning point on how we handle our national security, and all criminals and thugs and terrorists who are hiding behind Christianity or any other religion for that matter. We have decided, as the Interior Ministry, we will crack down on them with the same vigor, same strength, same focus, same clarity of mind as we are doing with the bandits, terrorists, and the sellers of illicit alcohol and drugs. Finally, Your Excellency, this country is facing a challenge on our law and order emanating from violent behavior which is incited as a way of resolving social, economic, and political grievances. 2-3 months ago, you saw we also how people purporting to be political demonstrators in Nairobi and the counties, some of the counties in Nyanza, caused death, destruction, looting, and breaking of property in the pretext that they are exercising political rights. We have also seen, Your Excellency, just last week, criminals who are said to have been exercising a grievance against the police in Esebania storm a police station, break into the armory, try to free people in lawful custody. Your Excellency, I'm on the way there to Isibania. No country worth its salt, can tolerate that kind of behavior. It doesn't matter what the grievances are. I know, Your Excellency, we have a problem. The DIG has spoken here, but he has not been as candid as perhaps I can be as his minister. We have a problem. Some of our officers are part of the problems we are facing in this country. And time has come for us as a country to part ways with any member of the organs of our national security who is aiding, abetting, and even complicating the already enough security challenges we have as a country. And it will not be enough. We have decided, Your Excellency, it will not be enough to transfer people. Because you transfer an officer, you are transferring a problem. I want to make it clear to all my colleagues who are serving with me in this ministry at all levels. Time has come for us to decide either we build our country or we just let it go to the dogs. And I'm sure the choice is extremely obvious. Between you as an officer and the country, we will choose to stick with the country. There are some genuine grievances, but at the same time, members of the public, we must be an orderly society which processes their grievances within the law. Therefore, any member of the public who tries to access a police station or any protected area, trying to contend with law enforcement officers in the name of processing their grievances, will treat you the way we are treating the other dangerous people in our midst. I am afraid that lawlessness has been induced by leaders, including political leaders. In Kericho and Bomet, this culture of violent resolution of grievances, Kericho and Bomet as we speak, next step, people who have what appears to be some of them genuine grievances of a historical nature. But instead of asking governments to support them resolve grievances, they steal property, they burn equipment, they even resist law enforcement officers and attack some of them, including burning police cars. And there are some political leaders who are involved, and they are my friends. They are my friends. We will not allow you, whoever you are, to take Kenya to the dogs. It will start in Kericho and Bomet, it will go to Nandi, it will go to another place where there is tea, it will go to central Kenya, we'll have no country. So, Your Excellency, I took time to elaborate that to say where we have placed all these problems is in the same WhatsApp group. The terrorists, the bandits, people selling drugs and alcohol, the people who are extremists, religious extremists, cultural extremists, like the people trying to revive Mungiki and other proscribed organizations which have come with beautiful names. Other names, they are not even calling them Mungiki. And we have the information. And we saw what some of these crooks and criminals were trying to do outside the DCI headquarters the other day. No country worth its salt entertains that kind of behavior. So, Your Excellency, as we fight this, we must also say no to religious and cultural extremists who want to throw Kenya to the dogs. We must say no to political and other leaders who are inciting violence and discrediting and defiling the facilities that symbolize order and civility in our country. You go to a police station to report crime. I have already admitted I have a lot of problems. And Kanja, you have a job. You have a job, Kanja. Your 70,000 Kenya police officers. You have a job. And the problem is at command level. Because when the command is aligned, these constables will toe the line, isn't it? So we have a job. But you see, the public also, that does not excuse the public. Run over police stations, bring proscribed groups to demonstrate and chant slogans outside the security facility. The politicians who are inciting people to vandalize equipment in the tea estates, I'll arrest all of you. All of you. Because it's not right. The politicians who are aiding and assisting bandits to steal livestock and kill people, I'll put you in. Whether you are in the opposition, whether you are in the government side, that is my work, and I know it's not popular work. So, Your Excellency, I'm sorry I went overboard kidogo, lakini asante kwa kunisaidia. Kwa sababu hii pombe itaharibu Kenya. Hii madawa itaharibu Kenya. Na kama wewe ni afisa wa polisi, kama wewe ni afisa wa utawala, na wewe mwenyewe ndio uko pale, unasaidiana na wale wanauza pombe ya sumu na madawa ya kulevya, your time is up and we'll part ways with you because we cannot prioritize you over our country. Kwa hayo mengi na machache, I request that we be all upstanding and invite the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Rigathi Gachagua, to set the climate as we go to the plenary. Welcome, Your Excellency, sir.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our Cabinet Secretary for Interior and the other Cabinet Secretaries, Dr. Omolo, our PS, the Regional Commissioner, the DIG, Bwana Kanja, the regional commanders, the sub-county commanders, the county commanders, the station commanders, our ACCs and officers, our members of parliament from the National Assembly and the Senate, good morning. We are happy to be here in Nakuru, the headquarters of the region that was previously Rift Valley Province, on an important matter, not just for this region, but for the country as well. I bring you greetings from the President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces, Dr. William RUTO. He asked me to see him this morning because he comes from this region and he had a specific message for you and for me. That much as he is the President of the Republic of Kenya, he comes from somewhere. And charity begins at home. And it cannot be that he is tackling a national problem and he is unable to tackle back at home. He has previously had very clear instructions to Professor Kindiki to sort out the banditry menace in the North Rift, which is embarrassing to the president and to all of us, because this is home. So he called me this morning and asked me to come and talk to you and tell you that this work we are doing, the instructions came from him because Kenya was sliding into a drunken country. And a whole generation between the age of 24 and 35, the most productive section of our society, was almost getting lost. So we started this journey in Nyeri, in the central Kenya region, not because I come from there, but because the problem was of the highest magnitude in that area. And I also, like the president, felt that even Jesus started in Jerusalem before he went to Judea. So I'm also here today in defense of my boss, that I cannot also allow, and I cannot sleep. And Professor Kindiki shouldn't sleep too, when the backyard of our boss is getting completely consumed by illicit alcohol and drug abuse. I didn't know the problem was that big until when we talked with the RC and I was saying we get like 6, 7 counties, and the people of Baringo were up in arms that they have been left out. They were also claiming that they are having a problem. And I think the way to solve a problem is first to acknowledge that it exists. And I'm so happy, and I really want to thank the senators and the members of parliament who are here for acknowledging that we have a problem. Once we diagnose the problem, that's what a good doctor will do, then he'll go ahead and do a prescription. The truth of the matter, we have a problem. I am many times accused of being paranoid about the previous administration. I'm not, I'm just truthful, because I think it's good to be truthful. This situation degenerated as the previous administration watched by. The level of impunity in sale of illicit alcohol and drugs is in a level that is not acceptable anywhere in the world. People are selling alcohol 24 hours, selling poison. As officers just watched. And I don't want to blame the officers. There was no political direction. People are led, officers are led. When President William RUTO came to office, I must tell you he had a serious problem with the officers of the National Government Administration, because in his opinion, and rightly so, they had absconded duty and went into politics of BBI and Azimio and all that nonsense that surrounded it. And the president was wondering why we need that branch of government, because he does not need them in politics, and that is what they were doing. It took me and Professor Kindiki and PS Raymond Omolo to sit the president down and convince him that officers of the National Government Administration are good people. They are very resourceful officers. They are result-oriented. They are very focused only when they get the right instruction. And we told the president the problem was not the officers, it was the leadership. They had removed them from their job of dealing with security, dealing with alcohol, dealing with the boundary disputes, creating peace and harmony, and told them to go and collect signatures for BBI, to go and try to sell Project Azimio, and such other difficult things that of course they perform dismally because they are not trained in that line of thinking. The president and I would be stupid to ask them to help us in politics. We would fail. Walisaidia Azimio ikaanguka. Sasa tukiwachukua tusaidie tutaanguka. We cannot. And the president agreed with us that we give them a chance. And we gave them the first responsibility. And I'm so proud of our officers from the National Government Administration that I served for 15 years. That when the president asked us to assign them the function of registering farmers across the country at slightly less than 50 million shillings. They registered farmers across the country in 2 weeks, where consultants had charged the Ministry of Agriculture 12 billion to do the same work. And I can tell you, from the very good job that was done by our officers, from the assistant chief all the way to the regional commissioner, today we have a database that is accurate for all farmers across the country. And it is that data that we used for the fertilizer subsidy program that has been very successful. Officers of National Government Administration, I want to congratulate you and tell you today, President William Ruto is your #1 advocate, that you are good people. We want to confirm today that this administration will never assign officers of administration and the police political duties. First and foremost, they are bad at it, so it is not wise to apply them that way. Number two, they have a job to do, and they are paid for to protect life and property, to create peace and harmony, and to spur development. I want to assure you that our MPs here from our side of the coalition should never ask you to assist them to do politics. And if they tell you, look for us. Even if they are in Kenya Kwanza, they are in UDA, you are not their errand boys. That is not your work. And Professor, you have said you are going to arrest people. Yeah. When you took this job, I told you, this job you have no friends. Even myself, if I do something wrong, come for me. Yeah. Because now, this work of national security, security is non-negotiable. I mean, it's such an important aspect of our existence as a country that anybody who violates the law, who gets involved in criminal activities, you must be prepared for the consequences. I invite leaders to read the Penal Code, Cap 63. Align yourself with it so that as you do your things wherever you are, you keep it in your car so that you keep on checking what you are doing. Because the way the professor have talked here, I'm very scared for you. And I can tell you, please, especially those who work for government, don't embarrass us by breaking the law. Because now, kanja akiambiwa kushike na professor atakushika. Sasa ukinipigia simu, I cannot call to say uachiliwe. So you are putting us in a difficult situation. Wale wetu wako pande yetu, hata wale wengine. Kama wewe ni kiongozi, tafadhali don't embarrass yourself by doing things that are not right. Because you embarrass everybody. These are difficult situations to arrest a governor, to arrest a senator. But they must be arrested if they break the law. But you really put us in a very difficult situation. So why are we here today? President, I, Professor Kindiki, the rest of us here, none of us has a problem with alcohol. Personally, I must admit, I used to drink a lot before I got saved. But since I stopped drinking, my things have been very good. That's how I'm deputy president. So I invite those who drink to consider to stop, to drop it. Maybe your things will get better. None of us has a problem with alcohol. But we have a problem with the poison in the name of alcohol. That we have a problem. We have a big problem with poison put in bottles and sachets and described as alcohol. That we have a problem. None of us has a problem with licensed establishments. But we have a problem with licensed establishments selling poison as alcohol. We have a problem. None of us has a problem with licensed establishment selling the right products. But we have a problem with the licensed establishments selling alcohol from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. the following day. That we have a problem. We have a problem with the people who have opened factories in their houses and distilleries under unhygienic conditions, and they are not licensed. That we have a problem. We have a problem with the people who are bringing ethanol across the Tanzanian border in Namanga at night and using it to manufacture poison under the guise of alcohol. We have a problem with that. We are very happy with police officers who are doing a good job. But we have a serious problem with a few of them who have conflict of interest, who have opened bars in the areas where they serve. We have a problem. We have a problem with our police officers who are collecting protection fees. We have a problem with our police officers who are supposed to go and arrest drunkards, but they are more drunk than the people they are going to arrest. That we have a problem. Si tumesema tuambiane ukweli. You are mimi, I'm a truthful man. Wengine wananidharau mimi. Lakini ninasemanga tu ukweli. Ukweli ni kwamba from today hii region maofficers wetu watapigana na ulevi na madawa. Kama hawezani naye atupatie nafasi, tutafute wengine wa kufanya hiyo kazi. Na vile profesa amesema na kaja amekubali, we are not going to transfer a problem. That is a decision that has been made in the National Security Council, shared by the president himself. We will not transfer a problem from Rift Valley to Western Kenya, because that would be foolish. Wewe kama huwezi pigana na hii maneno, utupatie nafasi tafadhali, vijana ni wengi, officers are many, who can do the similar job. And the professor is very candid. Wanakaja, we have a problem. That is the truth. We have a problem. We have a problem and a big one. Juzi, watu ya hii criminal gang walikuwa nasumbua watu kwa DCI, wamekamatwa, kuliko kupeleka kotini. OCS amechukua hongo ya watu 14 amewaachilia. Ati mnataka tukae na mtu kama huyo? How? At a station commander has powers to do whatever he wants. In which country? Which one? Hii Kenya William Ruto hii? Hapana, tafadhali tusilete mchezo kwa kazi. Hakuna haja. I want to speak to these officers because I was one of them. Na hii kazi president ananipatia because ninaielewa kidogo. I don't know too much. I'm a bit rusty. I've been away for too long. But I have a slight idea. The station commander is the center of police operations. And everything revolves around the station commander. That's why you are in this meeting. A police station is as efficient as a station commander. A police station is as rotten as a station commander. A police station is as corrupt as a station commander. It all boils down to leadership. A station commander defines what happens in that station. If he decides he will be collecting bribes, they will be collected by his deputy, the OC crime, the inspectorate, the NCOs, and the constables, because that is the leadership that has been provided in that station. Kazi ya hiyo station ni kuchukua hongo kuanzia mkubwa all the way to the constable. If the station commander decides that in the station there is no corruption, there is no bribery, the deputy station commander will not collect bribes. The OC crime will not collect. The NCOs will not. The constables will not. What am I saying? On illicit brews and drug abuse and other crimes will solely be in the hands of the station commander, and the success or failure of it will be your marking scheme. And there is no station commander who has failed in one station who will be taken to lead another one. No. It's not possible. We went to Bomet, to Kericho with the president for a Thanksgiving service. On a Sunday at 10, half of the congregation was drunk. Hawa kina senator walikuwa wanaangalia chini kwa sababu ya aibu. So kuuliza, all the station commanders wako na mabaa, wanachukua protection fee. So hii shida hawezi isha. Sasa president kaniuliza, sasa hii nchi, am I the president of this country? Nikamwambia, your excellency, ni wewe president. Akaniuliza, na deputy ni nani? Nikanyamaza. With the shame and embarrassment. I was so embarrassed. How? So what we are saying, we have come here today tusaidiane. Na hakuna mtu wako na ubaya na mtu mwingine. We want a new beginning. We know you are badly deployed. The government that was there did not care about the state of the citizens. They did not care whether people are drunk or not. In any case, most of those people were also drunk, so there was no problem. We have a new government that is saying we must have a sober society for our development and for orderly stay in society. And this new government is saying, kuliko tuumizane, tusugumuse tukubaliane. Because hii serikali ya William Ruto ni serikali ya mazungumzo and engagement. I've come to engage you on behalf of the president. How do we stay together? Please understand us. Hatuna ubaya. Tunataka tu watu wazuri, na hatutaki ulevi ya kupindukia, na hatutaki vijana wetu wakufe. We need them because we don't want to have widows and orphans. And I don't think we are wrong. I think we are good people. Hatuna ubaya na mtu yeyote. Nataka kusema, our county commissioners, our DCC, muende muite machifu wenu, mukubaliane, wapeane list yote ya ile watu wanauza bangi kwa sababu wanawajua. Wapeane list ya ile wote wanapika pombe haramu. Wale wote wanatumia license establishment kuuza sumu, wapatie jinyi hiyo list. Wewe uita kamati yako, ufanye kazi. Hiyo watu washikwe, wapelekwe kotini. DPP, they are here, they are represented. We are sitting with them, tulikubaliana how we work together. We are not asking for too much. Jana kwa sababu mimi niko na marafiki, mtu Naivasha ameniletea list yote, nitapatia watu ya Naivasha. Mwende muifanyie kazi kuanzia saa 10 mkirudi. Nitamsaidia na hiyo list. Najua mimi na president, because of being hustlers, I know we are not very popular with you because we talk to people who you lead directly. So tunajua mambo mingi ile naendelea. Hata mkitudanganya mmefanya, tunaambiwa. So tunachukua masimu, tunakuwa watu tunapigia. Iko kijana alinitafuta jana kutoka Naivasha, akameniletea list. Kaniambia hii watu yote ndio wameharibu Naivasha, na wanalidwa na USPD, wanalidwa na OCS, wanalidwa na DCC, lakini hakuna vita. If I give you that list, muende muachane na hao. Muaruke sasa, mkuje pande yetu. Sababu sasa unajua msipoaruka sisi tutaruka nyinyi na hamtakuwa huko. So you will not be of use to them. And by the way, there is a saying, crown ni mabati. Unaikulia tu saa ile iko pale. Ikitoka, it's useless. Hiyo watu yote wanahonga nyinyi. Saa ile tunakutoa, hiyo line inakata immediately. Sasa mshahara imekata na hiyo line imekata. So why don't you have your salary which is more sustainable and more definite? In any case, good people, mimi nitetea nyinyi wakati ya campaign kwa president. Tulipoingia, profesa ameweka kamati ya task force inaongozwa na Justice Maraga. Hivi karibuni mambo yenu iko sawa. We are going to give you good salaries and good allowances. Na tuliuliza raia, mnataka polisi wapewe kitu kikubwa ama kidogo? Wakasema wapewe kitu kikubwa. Raia wanasema mpewe. Lakini hamwezi kula kikubwa na mkule kidogo at the same time. You have to go for one. Situkubaliane. So kikubwa mtapata na nyinyi muachane na hii kidogo. And hii kitu kidogo is not sustainable. It's short-lived. It's not sustainable. Why don't you have something that is sustainable and keep your job and take care of your family? So ma DCC muite ma chiefs yenu na assistant chiefs wapatie nyinyi ma list mwanzane na kazi within 2-3 weeks. Ipombe ishe. We are coming with the president for 2 weeks in this region, and one of the ways to judge your performance, tukikuta hata mlevi moja tu kwa mkutano yako, kazi yako inaishia hapo on the spot, hapo. Na nimemwambia put your notice. Najua mimi ni mtu naibia nyinyi siri kwa sababu I was one of you. Tutakuja tukikuta mlevi moja kwa mkutano 1 at 10 AM, vile DIG amesema na nilisema na ikarudiwa sana kwa radio. The government policy is very simple. In allocation, the chief and illicit brew and bangi cannot coexist. Since bangi and alcohol cannot make a decision, the person to make the choice is the chief. Ni nani atakaa na nani ataondoka. If I was a chief, mimi ningesema pombe iondoke ndio nikae. But I'm not a chief, so I don't have a say in that matter. OCS in your area, the same. Mwede mfanye kazi. Let us talk to our governors here. Pia governors, sitaki kusema ni nyinyi kwa sababu mmekuja juzi na sisi. Our governors walituangusha. When the Liquor Licensing Court was being chaired by the DC, na watu ya nakada na nini, the kind of bars we have seen being licensed by county governments, it was not possible. Governors have licensed every small building in a trading center into bar and restaurant. Ukweli ama uongo? And these officers are complaining, and they are right. Now, bar and restaurant, when I used to drink, and I have not forgotten because it's about 10 years ago, bar and restaurant is that huge place with a big hotel na marumu ya kulala na nini. Sasa ukilala hapo unaweza kunywa kitu, unaweza kukula, so inafunguliwa throughout because you eat and unateremusha moja ya kusiaga chakula, which is okay. This is fine. Kama ni wine chupa 1 glass or 2, which is okay, you know. Now governors nyinyi, my people, Susan, in every small trading center there are 10 shops. One is a shop, another one is a hotel, the third one is a butchery. 7 are bars, bar and restaurant, selling during the day, during the night. To make it bar and restaurant, wanaweka mtura pale nje, hapo nje inachomwa hapo, ati hiyo ni bar and restaurant. Sasa please I think governors umetuangusha. I know you are not there. Please, I will have another meeting with all the county assemblies. That's what we did in Central Kenya, and it is working. We called the 5 county assemblies to harmonize the laws and to make it difficult to license bar and restaurant, to make it difficult for wines and spirits, because wines and spirit is another weakness. So I'll be calling all the county assemblies with the governors to kubaliane, we harmonize the laws, and we make it almost impossible to have bar and restaurant. Bar and restaurant should not be more than 2 in a big town. In these small towns, what are you having bar and restaurant for? For who? For who? When tulikuwa sisi watoto wadogo in the 70s and the 80s, Taska ilikuwa naitwa baada ya kazi. Sasa imebadilika, I said baada ya kazi ni badala ya. Because surely if we go back to the old ways, bars open at 5 p.m. they close at 11 p.m. Even if umekunywa chupa 10, between 11:30 p.m. and morning you'll have been sober. Utakuwa supu kidogo na pilipili unaenda kazi. Lakini sasa hii yote is open throughout. Even these police officers, they are human beings. Si hata hawa wanaangukia hiyo mtego. Because it's also very tempting. So we are asking our governors to agree I'm requesting them to agree. We change the law. We get the liquor license in court so that they are also members from the National Police Service. They are members from the National Government Administration. They are members from NACADA. They are members from the religious community. And we license bars once a year. Vile ilikuwa zamani. Once imefungwa, maneno imeisha. Sasa, what is happening in the counties? As they are looking for revenue, a receipt serves as a license. Unakata application fee, unaenda kuuza. That is how every establishment is a bar. And that these officers are also having a challenge. How do you enter into a licensed establishment? They have a handicap. I think governors tutakubaliana, tusikizane. The other request I would like to make to the county governments to consider, na nyinyi watu ya kwanza wale hapa hamuna namna, because nyinyi ni wetu, mtafanya vile tunasema. Hata kama tunaomba nyinyi, tutamwambia pia mkubali hii pesa ya pombe, the revenue from pombe, mkubali we dedicate that amount, some to NACADA and others to rehabilitation centers, because it's a sin tax. We use it to fix sin. Tuachane na mambo ya barabara na mambo ya, because why we have a problem, because we are requesting you to have a rehabilitation center in every county, fully fledged with everything. We are asking you to consider the drug addicts muwalipie NHIF waende rehabilitation. We are asking you to consider the revenue you get from licensing bars, mukubali itusaidie to save the people you lead. Give a certain percentage to NACADA, who are doing a very good job, but they have no funding. The rest, you dedicate it fully within the county to have rehabilitation centers and to assist in checking addiction and dealing with it. Si hiyo magavana watakuwa wametusaidia? Watakuwa wametusaidia. Kwa sababu tusaidiane. Na vile Arama amesema, because I think he is also very honest. From a selfish point of view, the way Arama was, and I'm also selfish, and you governors also must be selfish. Hii vijana yote wakikufa, tutachaguliwa na nani? Who will elect us? Na sisi, from Kenya Kwanza, hii pombe is in our backyard. Our strongholds, Mount Kenya and Rift Valley. Ndio tumewezwa. Sasa, nyinyi magavana mkilicense kila mtu, hii vijana yote wapotee kwa pombe, walale kwa mtaro, wahame kwa kitanda, walala chini instead ya kulala juu. Sasa sisi watoto watatoka wapi? Hii CD mnaendesha magavana, watoto watatoka wapi? William Ruto na mimi tutachaguliwa na nani? Na mimi unajua hii kazi, I didn't need it. I didn't need this job also. So please, mnisaidie pia. Mkijisaidia mtusaidie. Yeah, so what we are saying is simple. We are announcing the crackdown starts today, and we have agreed. Let everybody do his work. I know commanders mtapewa nafasi hapa muongee. The ones from Central Kenya, they had challenges with the Office of the Director of Prosecution. We had a meeting with Nurin Haji and his staff, and we solved, and I'm told things are working very well. So if there are challenges, we should sort them out. If there are challenges on transport, you should say. But the whole thing must start with change of attitude. That alcohol and bangi officers cannot be a source of income. Na pia nyinyi si ni wazazi. You are also parents. I want to challenge you officers as parents. When your child leaves home, do you know where they go? Hii bangi mnakubalia. Hujui pahali itapatana na mtoto wako, wewe mwenyewe. Hii pombe hii mnachukua hongo, inauzwa ile mbaya. Itapatana na dada yako, na ndugu yako, na mtoto wako. You should also have a responsibility as parents. And that is also what I told the DPP officers. Much as you want procedures, mjue nyinyi pia ni wazazi. This is a problem for everybody, tusaidiane. Let us help each other so that we can make progress. But otherwise, we want to support you. Na msijali. iko prison officer alipiga chief huko Thika jana juzi, tumesema akabiliano na yeye kwa sababu ati anasimamisha pombe. Yeye anasema hawezi kuacha pombe. Officer ya prison na kupiga chief kofi. Anasema hii pombe na kunywa ili kiharibu mwili ni yako. And those of you who are taken to court by doing a good job, the few who are not, please align. Wacha tufanye kazi. I want to reiterate what our CS Interior said. These proscribed criminal gangs I want to speak for the revival of those gangs. And will not be allowed. It is not. Is responsible for murder, rape, defilement, beheading people. Anybody who thinks that he can revive that gang to come and kill Kenyans, money from matatu people, to extort money from business people. Those characters were even going to the house and they tell you to wait the milk first, you take the rest of the milk. Hey, I want to appeal to our young people and I want to talk to parents and our church leaders. Please talk to our, more so in central Kenya, Nakuru here, Laikipia, bit of diaspora of the Mount Kenya region. They are the ones who have been targeted into that stupidity by that sect leader who has 9 posh homes. From the proceeds of widely. I want to talk to our young people. Don't go that route. You children, I want to talk to church leaders, to talk to your children. Don't allow them. Talk to them to go into that sect and start decisively and swiftly. And we don't want to go that route. I want to, please, that criminal gang, ikirudi hapa hii Rift Valley, that gang cannot, should not be allowed an inch in this region. Very complicated region with many dynamics because of the cosmopolitan. We are in Kenya and specifically behind you, and you must be rough on those characters within the parameters of the law. Don't allow it. Please sit down. Mimi nimesema hiyo tu, sitaki kuongeza kupitia hapo kwa sababu kuna mambo mengine ambayo hayawezekani. Wewe sasa, wewe Unataka nini kwa hii Kenya? What do you want in this country? You occupied the highest position. You are the richest man in this country.